I have the chance today to talk to two important members of rock icon, punk icon in Canada for the band God. Please welcome Theo Goutzinakis and Thacker.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Merci beaucoup.
First of all, guys, I'm curious, do you remember when you decided to play rock, punk music, how it happened, and who and what introduced you to this style of music?
Well, I mean, we always listened to rock and roll as kids and kind of got into heavy metal and then punk rock as we became teenagers. And we had met and played guitar together and stuff and kind of tried to start bands and stuff, and nothing really took off until God. And that was the one where everything clicked, and we kind of knew what we were doing. We were writing songs that we thought were good, and we just decided we're going to do this regardless of whatever. We didn't have a record label or anything. We decided to just make our own records, do everything DIY, and carve our own path in music.
Yeah, we booked like our own tours. There was no like cell phones at the time. We had book your own life through Maximum Rock and Roll, the magazine, and yeah, our first tour was like 9 shows on the west coast of the U.S., Washington, Oregon, and California. Yeah, we just did all our stuff. We bought the band and got all that stuff, and we had the music, and we got the talent together to get us as far as we knew. I mean, we were just these young, kind of dumb kids that just didn't really know what we were going to get into, but we had the passion and the drive and the motivation to, just do it. So
the year was 1994, and yeah, we were young. I don't agree that we were dumb, though. I don't know. We were kind of crazy. We were always anti-establishment, so punk rock was the place for us because what we saw in music around us was people that took themselves too seriously. And we always like to take the piss out of that.
Okay, I'll take that back. Maybe I was the one that was dumb.
Well, we did dumb things for sure over the years.
Everybody knows God now, but do you always think that the band will be the part that he has now in the story of the Canada punk rock music?
I mean, I guess we have left a mark in music. I mean, I don't think we ever really thought that we would be a big band or an important band. We just decided we were going to do it no matter what. But yeah, I think it seems like a lot of younger bands have been influenced by us, and we're more respected as a band now because we've been here for a couple decades. And so there's, in the early days, it was like, you get a little success and it's a bunch of your sellouts or whatever. People don't give a fuck about that anymore. All of our hits are kind of celebrated by people, even if they might have rejected it at the time when it was popular, when it was at its, being promoted. Yeah. I feel like, it's a comfortable sort of place now.
Yeah, I mean, like Tom said, we never expected that, but what we wanted to do, we just did it what we wanted to do. And like our videos, and even when the record label, first time an independent record label, Mint Records asked us to do, we want you to do your first single for You're Too Cool. And we said, no, can we do Soda instead? Because we wanted to build a BMX bike ramp and ride BMX bikes and have a good time. Because we never knew that it was going to be played and get viral on Much Music, or I don't even know, I think Music Plus, if they played it that much, I'm sure, on Reg's show. But yeah, we just did what we wanted out from our hearts, and we had fun, and that was how it all started.
For me, punk is a lifestyle. And what you are a real punk in your life?
Sorry, are we a real punk in our life? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Although, I'm a father, so I have to be responsible for my son. So I'm not a punk in that regard. I'm going to take care of my kid, and I'm going to try to earn to put food on the table for him and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a sort of a philosophy that you carry through your life, and you're like, I mean, my interpretation of punk is genuine and things that aren't overblown or overdone. It's a true expression and not necessarily the most. It's not necessarily about flair or talent or anything. It's about raw power and raw emotion.
Yeah.
And I live my life like that.
Yeah. Same with songs. And the attitude too. We have that punk rock mentality attitude. So I mean that's still been around from the beginning until now. So
we were a punk rock band in the we came about in the 90s. And I think in the 80s it was a much more savage scene. It was violent and it was kind of crazy. And then in the 90s, we were sort of more influenced by bands like Fugazi, where it's like, take care of the people in the audience. And this is a community, like more of a unity kind of thing. So the people hanging onto the aggressive and destructive path of punk, we didn't really gel with that.
Yeah.
We were to a certain extent, like we like danger in our rock and roll, but we don't want to fuck up the venue and like ruin things for other people. We wanted to create a community for punk rock, and we saw it happen in Vancouver. After we started doing shows and hundreds of kids started to come to them, other bands started to do it as well, and we created a scene. And when you nurture it, then there's an output, or there's an outlet for people that want to make music. There's an outlet for people that want to enjoy music. So that's sort of that was sort of our philosophy of punk rock.
This year, 2023, made the 25-year anniversary of the album How Far Shall I Take You. What are you the most proud of this album?
I feel like that album we really came into our own. Like Too Late No Friends was, we found a sound and it was a typical scrappy punk rock sound. But once we started touring, I think there were expectations for us to be a good band. And I think that that's what we did with How Far. We tightened up as musicians.
You had a new drummer too.
Yeah, in every way. We tightened that up. We made the recordings good, or as good, better. We just paid more attention to our craft, I guess. And I think our songs, we tried to find a more unique path for us and a more original path of sound that was our own. And that was sort of, I'm proud of all the records, but that is definitely a turning point.
Yeah. We grew as artists by that point until we got to this. It was very strange because we did this record. We were so proud of it. There was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of things affecting all of us, like in our lives that translate into the lyrics and stuff, especially the song and stuff on those albums. So
all of us.
Yeah, it was just raw and came out, and we were so proud of that record. And when we were wanting to play it, it was really weird at first. A lot of people, it wasn't the reception was very like, what's going on? Because they wanted to hear the kind of the more funnier, fun gob that was played. But these were like kind of heavy, fast speed punk metal kind of songs, and it was a bit of it was weird if we play it, but it wasn't until we got the next record, then everyone wanted us to play the How Far. We got to World According to God, then they wanted us just to play everything off of How Far after. So it was kind of like we were, I don't know if it was ahead of our time in a sense of our songwriting when we got to that point, and it was...
it was a change. It had to be shocking for people because we paid attention and we wanted to play faster and tighter and harder and made all of our tones and everything sounded better and louder and harder. Yeah. And so it would have been a shock for people coming to see Too Late No Friends.
Yeah, we're very involved in the production in creating our music, like with the engineers and stuff. So that's very important to us because we've been around now. We know kind of like what sounds good to us or what tone and all that. And so.
You did a cover of Pen in Black by Rolling Stones. Did you ever know what the group Rolling Stones think about your song, your cover? Do you have a flashback by Mick Jagger or something like that in the band?
Well, I'll tell you a story that someone told me from Edmonton, and they went to, there was a SARS festival a long time ago in Ontario, in Toronto, and the guy told me this. I'm only hearing it from secondhand news, but they told me Keith Richards went on the stage, introduced the song Painted Black, and he said there was only 2 or 3 bands that did this song basically justice, and he named the bands, and then one of them apparently he named us as this is what he told me. And I'm like, I said, fuck off. Are you serious? He goes, yeah. So I tried to find it online, and it was like a lot, because that was like early, I think it was before YouTube and stuff, when that Stars Fest. So I tried to find that part online to find that clip, because it would have been great for, our social media and stuff.
Like aliens, there's no evidence, but we
we want, and then this story someone told us, so it makes it more special. So if it's not true, it sucks, but if it is, I mean, we're gonna believe it's true for now until someone can tell us it's not.
I think it worked with the EA Sports NHL video game for a couple of songs and made appearance, help your promotion. You make multiple apparitions in a couple of movies. I think it helped too. How did this work help grow the career of the band God?
Well, I mean, when you have your, when your videos get on TV or your songs get on the radio or you get a spot in a movie or in a video game, a way wider audience hears your music that isn't the audience that goes and buys punk rock records. So that's huge for bands to branch out that way. We were lucky that a lot of people working on movies, and EA was in Vancouver and they were fans of the band, so they put us in several of the NHL games and I think Madden football.
Yeah. Graduates in that one, yeah.
And we were fortunate that they were fans. It just turned out that way. And they put a lot of great music in those games. But yeah, that takes you to a whole other world of exposing your music to people. So we were lucky that we had all of that happen.
The demos for, I want to say it was...
They liked they were fans, and they were so good to us that we didn't even have a new record, and they put demos of our songs on NHL 2002 or whatever.
Yeah, well, there was two songs that I got to mix at EA Sports on the Euphonics console. Other than also me and Tom got to pick a bunch of video games and throw them in a wheelbarrow and in our trunk of the car. But no, yeah, I got into because we didn't have, like Tom said, we didn't have new music, so we had these demos. So we were creating music at the time to put out for an album, and they wanted to have those songs because they liked them and they loved us. So it was pretty cool that they were into us. And then they made us characters in the video game.
Yeah.
You can
Theo Goutzinakis.
draft. You can draft. We're on a waivers team to unlock characters in the game. If you unlock a certain level, you can unlock Tom, me, Gabe, and the other baser, Craig. You can unlock us to be on your hockey team, and we have really good stats.
Yeah, it's a huge honor.
Yeah, and they took our picture digitally, they took the face so they could put, so you can see this big head on your screen.
I remember in 2002, I have 12 years. I Hear Your Calling is one of my first musical loves. A real goosebump for my ear. It's the most listening song of your band. Do you ever think this song will be so popular? And why, according to us, to you guys, the people still listening more than 20 years after its release?
Well, thank you. I'm flattered that you love it. I was showing, Theo and I were showing each other song ideas, and he heard that, and he was like, even though it didn't seem typical God at the time, he was like, we have to do that. So, and once we recorded the demo, it came to life. It was a very simple idea, and I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. And then once we recorded the demo, it was like, oh my God, this song is a hit. And so we sent it to the label. And that was the point. Like, all of our songs were kind of getting better and better. And they're like, all right, we're done. Let's do a record. And I get it. Like, I could hear it the first time I heard it too. Yeah, but I never thought, like, as far as it being as successful as it was, I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed that. But.
So yeah, like Tom said, that intro of the song, you hear before the song that he starts singing, the intro, so all the demo was just this one guitar and the other, so the two guitars, the rhythm and the little lead, and it just I think it repeated like for 8 bars or 16 bars.
No, I played the lead for the vocal too.
Yeah, and it was just this little thing. But I remember driving and listening to this tape, and I like when I got home, I was like, I called Tom, I said, "We got to do something with that. That's a fucking. There's something. I don't know, whatever. I just felt good to me. I loved it right away. I thought there's something so cool about it. But I mean, he fucking wrote the song. He was like, and that's, yeah, we feed off each other too. So it's awesome. Like when he likes something in mine, he'll push me, go, yeah, do that one. Or let's work on that one. Or same with me to him. So
like everything, I grow mentally, physically, and your band too. So now it's time to talk about Virtuous Divas. It's an important sound changing for your band. I remember the first time I hear We're All Dying, and I said, this is the same band that played I Hear We Call In, Oh Helen. It's very different, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's darker. It's a much darker record. I think it's like with age, you experience more things and you have more hardships and like more serious stuff in your life as you grow up. And I think that's sort of where that's why it sort of became a darker record. We kind of tend to kind of go back and forth with our records. They'll be more pop, or more like fun and happy, and then a dark one, then a fun and happy. And I don't know. We just sort of, I'm not sure why we do that.
But the cohesiveness of the songs of at the time of Muertos, it had lent itself to like a darker time of like, there was a war going on with Iraq, and it was like a bad time, like when it was like a bullshit war. And, I know we were Canadian, and a lot of people maybe not going to listen to us politically, but Tom wrote really good lyrics too, for a lot of those songs on that album. And it was just, it was just, totally, it's like the world was collapsing, the markets were collapsing in 2007 and 8. Like, it seemed like, it was like completely like the civil license issues. It was teetering there, like it almost seems like all the time. Like
we had gone through a lot personally, and even with the band, like we had been on a major label, and then we were dropped, and then we didn't have the same management company, so there was a lot of change. So I think that the turmoil sort of bred a more serious, angrier record. Almost sort of like How Far Shall It Take You. We all went through breakups before that, and so our record just happened to be this fast, super hard record. And so I think it's the same thing. Like current news events and stuff and dark things and our personal stuff. It just all kind of amalgamated in a darker, more serious record.
The next one is very tough. Probably for father. It's like Take a Child. Your favorite song of God and why?
To Tell a Child, what my favorite song is?
Your favorite song.
What's the pick of your favorite?
It's like to take your favorite child.
You can't pick
right. I got
favorite baby.
I think I mean it changes all the time. Like I don't. Do you have a favorite right now? I don't even know.
I'm like thinking while you're like thinking. I mean, it's so hard. You're right. Like, but it's not 1, 2, or 3 kids. This is like plenty of kids. This is like more than the Brady Bunch.
I feel like I kind of like the more personal ones. I really like Wake Up from Muertos Vivos.
Yeah, that's the thing. And he wrote, his Tom's mom passed away just over a year ago. It was from cancer. That's really. I mean, we were playing this. Remember, you were talking about the acoustic set. Said your friend Sonny and all the whole show of music. So we were playing that in the acoustic set, and then when Tom just sang the first line, "Hey Mom, and then right away I was almost started crying because it just hit me, and I didn't want to do and make it like because Tom, I was trying to keep my composure. And
it's a wild feeling to sing that song, and I'm referencing my mom and like my relationship with her. And
your mom was awesome. Your mom was fucking awesome.
So that's a super personal song, and that's one of my favorites. Maybe that one right now. That's my favorite right now. I don't know if Theo has a favorite right now.
Fuck. I mean, because we both write songs, so he writes songs, I write songs, so I don't know. I just fucking don't. I have to look at the songs. I'm so taken back with right now. I'm gonna say Wake Up too. Let's just stay with Wake Up.
What? The unanimous.
I think now it's time for you guys to release new music.
You know, as you get older and you have other things and other work and stuff, things get in the way. You know, I've got a kid and a wife that I want to see, and I don't get a lot of time to see them, and family back in Vancouver. So it's hard to get around to it. And I've also been busy with Sum 41, and that has taken up a lot of time. But we do have songs. We have song ideas coming together, and we'll see. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on music all the time. So when it's right, when we feel the songs are good and we both agree on it, then we move forward to the next step. We'll make the demos together and make an album. But you never know. I mean, fingers crossed. It'd be great if we had something out in 2025, but we'll see.
We just put all the records, the first 5 records out on vinyl for the first time. So that was sort of our energy right now, because that's very exciting for us and for our fans, because it's the first time on vinyl. And it's just, I don't know, that's been our focus this past year or so.
Yeah, because it was in the works with the vinyl. Like COVID happened. Dylan wanted to put this out just right when COVID kind of happened. So the world went kind of on shutdown mode, and so that whole 2 years it was postponed. And then when everything kind of started up again, then they wanted to resume to put these records out. So for us, it was like a long labor birth of these to come out on vinyl. We knew it was going to come. Then we fast forward about 2 or 3 years later, and then they finally came out, and we're so happy. And Dino, they did a great job working with us to get these out, and we're super excited.
Maybe one question for each. First, for Tom. We have a hell of a ride with Sum 41. Just a couple of words about this ride and the end of the band.
Well, there's not really much to say about it right now. It's just everything comes to an end. So we're putting out a new record and then touring the cycle, and then it's I don't know when the last show is. I think it might be the Paris show next spring. Yeah, that's about it.
It is tough for you just to see this ride end, because for a lot of kids, for a lot of people, Sum 41 is probably one of his first bump in music punk. It's for a father, it's for a mother, for certain people it's a grandfather, it's kids, it's a lot of generation.
Yeah, it's true. It's difficult to, but everything comes to an end. All good things come to an end.
For you, Theo, now you have a new band. It's really. It's not very, very long that you played with, I think. Theo and the
Theo.
Theo and the Thugs.
It was something I just kind of put on the side. As I was working with usually he was our drum and guitar tech in Gob, but he passed away from cancer as well. I recorded a bunch of songs with him. And it was just something to do on the side, because when Tom was busy with Sum 41, he's busy for a year or two. I just wanted to play music. I wanted to do something because I was just kind of getting bored. I wanted to play shows live, right? So at one point, I think even I told Tom, I said, because I think there were Sum 41 was looking for a guitar tech a long time ago, and I was going to say, I'd go and do guitar tech for Tom so I can just come along, at least be in still with the music. And I think Tom didn't like the idea of me, I think.
No, I mean, that'd be fun. But it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, bonus question. Theo is a thug or not?
Pardon me?
Theo is a thug or not?
Theo is a thug?
Yeah.
He's kind of a thug at times, yeah.
Well, it's Theo and the Thug, so the Thugs are the other guys.
You're not.
I'm just the leader. I'm like the boss, like the mob boss.
Theo and the Tugs, like that. Theo and the Tugboats.
Theo and the Tugboats. Well, that name came from my cousin when I was young. When I first started playing guitar. Yeah, there was a band called Doug and the Slugs. I'm from in the West Coast, and my cousin just said I was on a ghetto blaster recording, and I was just doing with an acoustic guitar. I'm like, I'm going downtown. I didn't know how to play guitar, and then my cousin yelled into it. You and the yelled that out instead, and it was funny, and I just used it as a alias, like for when I was doing this. I didn't know if I was going to put anything out. And then my friend Paul, who works at the Armory, he said, "No, you got to keep it. I like the name." And then so he kind of convinced me to kind of keep it. But whatever, it was just for fun. I don't know. Hopefully, some of those songs might become gob songs. And Tom's like going, "I don't think so." No, but.
Yeah, I haven't heard them.
Yeah.
I only heard Rick.
Maybe they could be. Some of them could be gob songs, but we'll see if I ever finish it. But it's been very hard, just to round this up. But it's very hard to go back because my friend passed away, which he did the drums to. I can hear him talking on the record when I'm in the tracking the guitars. So I took a year away from it because it was making me sad to work on it because it just was. I didn't want to feel like shit. I didn't feel like working on music when it was bumming me out, and I didn't realize it would give me a negative effect like that. So I just was told from my friends and other people, and they said you should just step away, and then when you're ready, you're ready, and that's what you got to do. Is time, as cliche it kind of helps ease things and ease the wounds and heal them, and then that's. I feel excited to work on it again, but I want to work on new songs that I've been working on and keep that going too. But I should finish those because I think there's at least 3 or 4 real good fucking rippers in there.
Guys, please stay in touch, release new music, and continue to play.
Rippers, not rapers.
Yeah.
Just for the translation.
I wouldn't have even said that.
Stay in touch and continue to play with God. I think a lot of people continue just to grow with your music. And it's very amazing. My kid have 4 and 1. My boy, I have 4 years old. My girl have 1 year old. And he loves your music. So it's very nice.
Isn't why is
my son's 5. And he loves our music too.
All right. His son is a fucking amazing. He's so smart. He knows the Clash album. He knows the songs.
He's very into music. Yeah, he likes everything from Clash to Prince to John Williams. He's got very
like father, like dad.
Yeah. When he was like 3.5 years old, he was telling me, he was like, "Uncle Theo, this is my favorite book, and it's by this author." Like he told me the author's name and stuff like a 3.5-year-old at the time.
He likes his books and his records.
Yeah. He takes his books. He's going to be a fucking amazing. He's going to be a journalist. He's going to take over your job and maybe an author.
Maybe. We'll see.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Are you coming to the show today? All right. Awesome.